Hi, I'm Larry DeMarco. Hola, thank you for asking me to present today, and thank you for everything you do with B-Man. When I was in school, I played men's sports, American football, rugby, and baseball. I only had two brothers, no sisters, and I went to an all-boys school. I was raised in a deeply traditional European Italian paternalistic household where I knew exactly what being a man meant in the old school sense. My father never said I loved you or hugged me, but I never doubted his love. He showed me love by providing, protecting, and showing up every day. I was raised to be a gentleman. Don't hit, open doors for others, pay for her dinner. My parents embodied old-fashioned gender roles. He worked, she stayed at home, and I absorbed those expectations like gospel. Today, I'm the executive manager for the International Council for Men and Boys. Our mission is to raise awareness about 12 key areas of male inequality and promote solutions to help men and boys thrive in today's changing world. But this work is also personal, and I want to share a piece of my story, one that shows how traditional masculinity both shaped me and nearly broke me, and how rewriting its rules helped me find joy, connection, and purpose. By the time I reached high school, I recognized I didn't fully fit the traditional mold. I was emotional, and still am. I cry. I feel deeply. I over communicate. I'm expressive, passionate, empathetic, and open. But for a long time, those qualities felt like weaknesses. I didn't see them modeled in the men that I admired growing up. I became a personal injury litigation attorney, a respectable job with a good paycheck. I was good at it, but the stress drained me. I came home every night miserable and irritable. I've always been more driven by understanding people, what makes them tick, why they're struggling, what they're struggling with, and how to help them find solutions. Working with numbers or chasing financial gain just didn't inspire me the same way. My wife, smart, intuitive, and wildly capable, saw this in me and encouraged me to take action. She had left teaching, frustrated with the politics of her school district and her system, and was slowly building a consulting firm that now coaches communication and leadership to business executives. One day she said what I was afraid to say out loud: if you stay in your job, it's going to destroy your happiness and ours. So I left litigation, the stressful part of law, but I stayed with the social work part and the counselor part of law, serving nonprofits. It doesn't make me rich, but it makes me whole. I now have two part-time jobs that I love. I smile more. I laugh more. I look forward to Mondays and waking up in the morning of a work day. Our marriage is stronger, and I'm finally modeling for my son the kind of man I want him to become. My mother, still very traditional, once asked me, "Doesn't it bother you that your wife makes much more than you?" And I'll admit, it stung a little at first. But then I realized what hurt wasn't the fact that she earned more. It was the echo of an old script that said that my value was defined by how much I earned, the role I played, and how much control I maintained. But that's not the script I want my son to inherit. In our family, we flipped the roles. My wife My wife works long hours. I do the laundry, clean the dishes, and care for our son most nights and weekends. I'm an affectionate, communicative husband and father. I kiss my son on the head, I tell him I love him, and I listen when he needs to talk. And every time I do, I'm filled with hope because I know I'm helping my son grow up seeing that love, presence, and emotional connection are part of what it means to be a strong man. It's not just strengthening our relationship, it's reshaping what's possible for the next generation. We're at crossroads, a moment where the old model of manhood no longer fits the world we're raising our sons to lead. My grandfather's generation believed affection made you weak. My father loved deeply but didn't know how to say it. I've chosen a different path, not because the old way was all wrong, but because it was incomplete. It's time to redefine what it means to be a man, not by throwing out strength, discipline, or resilience, but by adding empathy, affection, and adaptability. A man who leads with love, communicates with clarity, and shows up fully at work, at home, and in his heart. That's the kind of man I'm trying to be. That's the kind of father I want to model. And that's the kind of legacy we can all choose to build for our sons, our daughters, and ourselves. Because in the end, masculinity shouldn't be a cage. It should be a bridge to connect to purpose and to each other. I'm Larry DeMarco, the Executive Manager of the International Council for Men and Boys. You can find us on menandboys.net. Sign up, join the wave, leave your email address, get our newsletter, and don't forget, hug your son twice a day. Thanks, Ola, and thanks, B-Man. Keep up the great work.